We are creating a platform for those who are curious, one that tells the story from the artist's perspective, moments in time captured from the innovators who are reshaping dance, music, theater, and the visual arts. This is the Working Artist Project.
In today's society, the idea of taking a risk is seductive, but there are very few of us who actually do that. Today's guest is one of those people who showed no fear, who longed for growth, and who was frankly consumed with the idea of creating in a space that nurtures instead of a space that feels comfortable. Comfort is definitely one of these things that is intoxicating and that we all long for, but you can't truly be happy if you don't also seek the uncomfortable, if you don't also seek some sort of growth. Flavio Silva is the embodiment of that person. He's a great musician. He's a great human being. He moved from Brazil to Belgium, from Belgium to the Netherlands, and from the Netherlands to New York City. I think you guys are going to dig him. I think you're going to dig his message. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And I want you to take a second just to give the people an idea of who you are and a little bit of your story, where you come from, why you're in New York City.
I studied back in Brazil. I went to music college over there. I did some study also in Belgium and Holland. And then I moved to New York to get my master's at Queen's College, where I studied with Antonio Hart, who's my mentor, Paul Bollenbach, Dave Berkman, Tim Armacost, Mike Moreno, and what else? Yeah, I mean, they're a bunch of great... Oh, yeah, Michael Mosman, man, he's amazing. And yeah, I came to New York because, like, I mean, for my experience, like, what I saw in Europe, like, was nice, you know? Like, whenever people ask me, oh, why do you come to the States? Because, like, I hear sometimes like a lot of American people feel like maybe going to Europe, which is, you know, completely understandable. And for me, it was like I felt like I need, like, let's say maybe like a bigger challenge. And as much like I completely agree that, like, let's say my quality of life over there was like way better than my quality of life here in New York, you know. But
you just mean musically.
Yeah, musically. Yeah. I mean, like life like in both like Belgium and the Netherlands was nice, you know. Like, I mean, you basically don't, like, even when I think like money wise, you know. Let's say that somebody with I don't know, let's put like this, maybe let's say 1,200 euros, which would be maybe like $1,600, something like that. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the exchange rate.
I don't know the exchange rate, but like, let's put like something like that.
Okay.
Somebody with, like, let's say, yeah, with like with that amount of money would like live like you know, like their monthly, you know, they do like really well, because like, as like if you live with roommates, you can get like whatever a room for maybe 400 euros. Wow. You know, it's very cheap. I used to pay like 600, but like I used to live like really like in the center of the city, so that was like, you know, like prestige place, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I need like more like a musical challenge, you know. Like, I mean, especially like what I experienced, like, for instance, like in Belgium, like a lot of people like a lot of like free jazz, for instance. Right. They have like a lot of like free improvisation, you know.
Well, let's explain, if some people may not know what free jazz is. You know, like there's different sects of jazz and or genres within jazz itself, and free jazz is more, I guess, you create music spontaneously. There isn't, you don't come onto the bandstand or into the club knowing what you're going to play.
That's right.
And so I guess some people would describe it as chaotic.
sometimes depending on how it goes, right? I mean, that's mostly like I would say the free thing, because like I mean there are also hear like different players making free music. The results completely different, so it's a little hard to really define that, right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, people in Belgium like really liked that, and like I think like they do that in a like high level, like very well. So as much as I can appreciate that, like I never felt like that connected to that type of music. Okay. So if I also felt like, okay, I need something different. So the music scene in the Netherlands was, let's say, closer to it, maybe what we have here. Like I mean, style wise was like more open, you know. Like I mean, you'd have like free jazz as well, but like you had like a lot of people playing straight ahead, and like some people like maybe playing like hip hop. Right. There was even like a strong Brazilian music scene over there, you know.
Are there a lot of Brazilian expats?
Yeah. Okay. There, I mean, for sure not like as many as here, but like but definitely had like a Brazilian community that goes strong over there. So yeah, and but yeah, somehow like I just felt that I had to come here. Actually, originally before I went to Europe, my idea was always to come to New York.
Right, of course.
And of course I went to come to study, but like for instance, I went to Queen's College, which actually is like way cheaper than all the other schools, whatever, like Juilliard or Manhattan School of Music, of course, or you know, Berkeley, all those. But back then, when I started like researching schools, I didn't have like a clue about Queen's College or City College, you know, like those schools they're still have like a very good quality of what they teach and their teachers. I just knew about like, let's say the big schools, and of course back then I think when I first thought of coming to the States to study, I was like, I don't know, maybe like a year those schools would be like, I don't know, 40 grand. I was like, man, I don't have this money, you know? Like I mean, and so anyway, like yeah, when I discovered that like Queens had like was like way more affordable, you know, then I felt like, okay, this is possible. And actually for me, and I think like this is like one maybe put like this, maybe the easiest way for like foreign musicians to come to the States, which is studying, and then like afterwards you apply for your artist visa and stuff. Because just like sometimes even like if you already have like and I would say like if you have like of course like a solid career outside the States, you know, it's not a problem to get like the visa, but studying the States is also like a very good thing, because like we have like so many great people teaching in like in this college, right? So like having the experience, and also getting to the States and meeting and like starting to network with people inside school, I think that's a like a huge
so like building your network and everything like that.
Absolutely, because it's hard, right? I mean you also didn't you came to New York how long ago?
Almost 6 years ago.
So but when we just like move here or move anywhere without like knowing anybody, it's you know hard. Like that's it's really hard. And unless you have like you're like the like master of networking, you know, like like whatever, being out for a week, you know, and already starting gigging the week after, you know. But like I mean, we know that like just like hard and takes time. So of course like being in a school environment definitely helps to at least like start the whole thing. So yeah, then that was basically it. Like I mean, I moved here for the first of all the music itself. School was the way to get to New York, but I was definitely like here because I wanted to learn, and like I want to push forward, you know, like my music within like the jazz genre. And
okay, yeah, man, I want to get deeper into the Brazil story, because you're originally from Brazil, and for anyone to leave home, especially Brazil, man, you gotta really like really want to be somewhere else, you know, because I feel like in Brazil the music's on a high level. I've been there. I've only been once, but I saw a lot of great musicians there. The people are great. The food is great. Sao Paulo's an amazing city. I mean, it's huge, like much like New York.
Right.
You already had the network there, but still you chose to leave there to go to Europe. And what was the catalyst for that?
I moved out of the country when I was 24. The first thing for me was like, I want to see something different. Like you said, I mean, Brazil has like a very strong music scene overall. There's some really, really great musicians. Indeed, the food. I mean, maybe it is because I'm Brazilian, but like I man, like up till now, like I mean, there's no place food-wise that can beat Brazil to me. You know, like I mean, it's just like it's not even like about like a certain dish, but it's just like the quality. You know, like I mean, Brazilian people really love to eat, like really love the taste of food. You know, it's really like it's a pleasure, like of like really having like that amazing taste of like when you eat these or that. So that's definitely like just like a cultural mindset for food. And indeed, like I had the network over there. I knew people. I was playing with different people, right? But yeah, at first, like I just wanted to see something different. You know, I was like, man, okay, I think this is like a strong experience. You know, whenever you have it, you know, like I mean, for me, like just like looking back when I was still in Brazil and trying to compare myself, let's say 9-10 years ago when I left, and now, and just like see how I changed as a human being, as a person, how I see things differently. You know, I feel like that myself. I really got to grow like so much. You know, with this experience, especially because, for instance, like my family is all in Brazil, and whenever you have you of course you get friends like some other place, but still different, you know, maybe like your mother just having like that mother thing of like sometimes coming to us and like whatever, saying that one thing that mothers know, one thing, like they know what to say whenever we need it, you know, like I mean, just an example. And like I said, like especially like for me, like being an only child, you know, I know it's hard for my mother as well, you know, to see me being like so far, you know, but like luckily with the whole technology, you got FaceTime, I can you know, like at least like connect with her like very, very often, you know. But I think that, so I'm the type of person, like I'm within, you know, with myself, I'm always looking for some ways to grow in different like aspects. So I could say that like maybe that there was like more like in a subconscious level when I was deciding to leave the country. I think like I had like that, you know, like that thing like already inside me, like pushing me, because that would be like a way to grow and also to be out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, that's huge, man. You know, I think a lot of times most musicians or artists have that because, you know, we're born all over the world. Like even for me, I'm born in Jackson, Mississippi. So I had to leave home in order to make my dream come true. And so did you.
Yep.
Therefore, I know that you had some challenges and you went through some things because you left Brazil and because you chose, like you already said, one was just to leave your family behind. And that's a huge challenge that I also I'm with you because my whole family, I'm here alone, you know?
Yep.
So what are some other challenges that you could warn or give heads up to some other kids in Brazil right now who looking up to you, the superstar, and they want to follow in your footsteps, man, or somebody in Japan or somebody in Kentucky, somebody anywhere who has to leave home to achieve their dreams.
Man, I whenever I have like this type of conversation, I definitely advise everyone to experiment these, you know, because it's an experience, you know, like I mean, being away from home is different for me than for you and like from anybody else. No, we can definitely like find like similarities, but like it's really like that part of the personal experience, you know. But like I would say that especially when we get the chance to really like deal with like a kind of culture that like it's completely the opposite to what we are used to, that's where like maybe like the biggest growth is gonna happen because, for instance, I remember this was funny, you know, like I mean when I got to Belgium, you know, like even like with dating, you know, like I mean, man, we I mean Brazilians, you know, like southern people, we're like warmer, you know, I mean, and I remember like whatever, like trying to like let's say like approach someone and that kind of stuff, and man, and they would feel like maybe that was like maybe too invasive or was too much, you know,
aggressive,
but yeah, and then I was like, whoa, I was like, really? Just like I mean, this is like common, you know, for us. That's like how we do it over there. Right. But it's like just like funny because like I mean, there's no right and wrong on that. It's just like a completely different thing. And then like in my case, being like in their country, then you have to adapt to what they do, you know, and vice versa. Like I'm here right now. I feel like in a way, like I feel like culture here in the United States is like, let's say maybe closer to the Brazilian ones. Also because like we have like similar history, slavery, and all those things, you know, like I think like the mixture, you know, and also like the United States is like such a big mix of like different culture, like we are in Brazil. So in that sense, I think like maybe it gets like a little easier put like this to deal. But yeah, whenever you get like to somewhere, it's like if I would maybe have gone to Japan, you know, you know, like which would be like a completely different shock, you know, than what I had before. So I would tell people like, man, if you have the opportunity, you know, to especially maybe it's just like moving to like maybe the big city, you know, if you're from the countryside, you know, maybe it's that. But like I would say, man, do it, you know. You don't know what's gonna happen, you know. Like I mean, nobody can really tell you like, hey, okay, this is gonna work or not. Right. But I feel that you gotta try it at least, you know. Otherwise, you're gonna like live your life like, oh, what would be my life if I would have done this? Right.
That was my big motivation. Like I didn't want to be on my deathbed thinking I should have. Man, I should have moved. I should have did this. No, I just go for it. If you and I think you're right, man. If you want to do something, fuck it, go for it.
Yeah, man. Just try it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
you got nothing to lose.
Man, I mean, whoever, like, I mean, we read, like, especially, like, stuff, like, online, you know, like, I mean, all the guys who made it, you know, who are there, or people who we look up for, you know, like, I mean, everybody failed, you know, like, I mean, and that's the way, you know, like, I mean, man, I always say, like, I mean, I grew up, like, watching, like, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, man. That's probably, like, my favorite show, you know, like, I mean, like, that, and man, like, I gotta say, like, I really look up to like Will Smith as an artist, as you know, like as a model of a person, because like especially like nowadays he really puts himself out there, you know. He doesn't I don't know him personally, you know, but like what like the impression I have from that guy, like he's being just like honest, you know. He puts out there what he really is, you know, and even like the stuff with like, let's say his marriage, you know, that they had to work stuff out. Anyway, man, that's hard, you know. You don't tell people like, especially like if you're like that's a big of a celebrity, right? I mean, so, and he talks a lot about that, you know. Like I mean, there's even like a video like I saw the other day where he mentioned about like his failures, you know, like in the beginning with the whole like music and stuff. So, but look, the guy tried, you know, like, and he kept like pushing, even though he might have had like some down moments here, you know. So
yeah, there is no success without failure. No. So don't fear the failure.
Not.
Now you mentioned South American having a similar history to North America.
Yeah.
With slavery and everything like that, and I feel like some of your music hints towards that, and you bring in influences from multiple cultures.
Absolutely.
And I want to get into that.
That's it.
And talk about your new record, Break Free, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like I listen to this record and I feel like you're bringing in some African influences, some Afro-Brazilian influences, and also some American influences. And how do all those things, well, why did you do that? And then how do all those things relate?
Right. So at first, as I left the country, I had like a huge phase with myself that I felt like, man, okay, I want to do jazz. That's what I really want to do. But let's say maybe in the past, maybe since when I moved to the States, there's like something like start resonating inside me that like really showed me like, okay, you can do this, but you definitely have to keep like your roots. Whatever you, because it's just like, man, I can't just like put aside the fact that I am Brazilian, because like that's where I come from, like my culture and stuff. So in a way, whenever I start like composing stuff, like that, I mean there's music in the record which I composed when I was still in Europe. There's like newer things, but like I can definitely say that like the more like African or Afro-Brazilian stuff that you can hear in the record, I probably wrote when after I moved to the States, because then like I had like just this click in my head that like really that which I really, I was just like very strong telling me like, man, okay, you gotta use that too, like, because that's also what makes you when it's different, like, I mean, I don't want to put like a record out which is gonna sound just like maybe these other artists which I really like or I'm inspired by, so how do I blend all that, it was like I can say like that was not hard, but like I mean, of course, like I want like the record to have like a unity type of sound unity, which, let's say if I will have like whatever, like 10 tracks and like each track has like a complete different vibe, that's hard to make like the record sound as
cohesive,
right?
Yeah.
So, but I personally I'm happy with the result, because I think like we managed to get to a sound that's part of the album, like, so I just feel like they had to do it, like, I mean the whole African thing. I mean, I listen a lot to. I mean, the other day we were watching Tony Allen, right? So I mean, I like a lot the Fela Kuti stuff, a lot of like the Richard Bono stuff, like, I mean, like probably the guitar player maybe like the most these days for like Lionel Louick, I mean, we have like all these amazing people, and like they're just like different, but like the thing with Lionel is just like he had like that African thing, like so he's like me, he's like a really like for me like a big model when it comes to,
well, he lived in Europe for a while too,
exactly,
he moved to the States.
Exactly, he went to Berkeley, Monkey Institute, like kind of stuff.
I think he's from Benin.
Yeah, that's right. So like, I mean, when I hear like Riz records, I mean, he's basically being African.
Yeah.
That's it. He's just being. I'm sure, like he's just being himself, and like of course there's like jazz influence and stuff, but still, like that's the thing that makes him being himself.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, he's not really trying to copy anyone. It's very personal. Of course, he has like influence, like we all have, but that was like a big trigger, for me, because like listening like a guy like him, and even like listening like my peers back home, or people who came before me, even like the big guys, like whatever, like Hermeto. There's a guy who I have to mention, because he's like a huge influence on me, and like a lot of people don't know about him outside Brazil. There's a guy called Arismar do Espírito Santo.
All right, you got to tell me how to spell that.
Arismar. So Arismar. Yeah. You can definitely like look him up like on YouTube, because like he's like he's like a big name back home, and he's like a multi instrumentalist. He's one of those guys. You just give him the instrument, he'll make music with whatever. It's just like Hermeto, and I mean, he's one of the guys I looked up for, and like I would hang out at his house, like, I mean, like for a long time I was close friends with his son. But like, like these guys are very like a big examples for me, because Arismar also had this thing, like, I mean, I heard like stories from him before, like, I mean, everybody wanted to play jazz, like, I mean, before, but then like there's this click, you know, that okay, gotta be
Right. Of course.
yourself, you know?
Man, so you know, I'm curious now, like, how do you identify? Do you identify yourself as Afro-Brazilian? And like, how does, because I mean, as an American, we don't really know how that works, because it works differently here than it does there.
But what would you say, I mean, how do you identify what, like maybe the record or what?
Just as a human being.
As a human being. That's a good question. I don't know, man. I would say like maybe like I'm Afro samurai or something like that. You know, like, I don't know.
You don't know. Man, is it because I was in Brazil and you know, like we look similar. We have similar skin complexions, and so I was in Brazil and no one knew what. They just figured I was Brazilian, you know. And then when I spoke with Brazilians, they just like, we're all Brazilians, you know. And I was like, oh wow, okay, because in North America, we don't really have that concept, and I wasn't convinced that you guys had the concept either, but maybe you do, and I'm culturally
we have
ignorant.
something similar, I would say, but like I think it relates more to, let's say the basic skin color, you know. I mean, because just maybe then they could separate like black from white, from Asian in that sense, you know. I'm the one in between, you know, because like, I mean, I'm definitely not white, but like I'm not black either, you know. So I'm mixed, and I like whenever like I spoke to my mother about this, about like, hey, which kind of ancestors do we have, you know? And my mother's answers were like, oh yeah, we're like Indian, like native, you know, like I mean descendants. I'm like, okay, that's. Sounds fine, you know. Like I mean, I just wanted to know, like, if you had like any whatever European,
you don't know,
somewhere.
Right.
I probably have, you know, because like I mean,
for sure,
somewhere, you know, like I mean, back there. So, but I'm sure, like I mean, there is black, you know, like I mean, because like if I would show like a picture of my grandmother and especially her sisters, they're like way darker, you know, like I mean, in skin, you know, like my mother's, I'm like a little darker than my mother. My father was like also like more or less like my color as well, but like yeah, you know, like I mean, I definitely identify myself way more towards like the black side, you know, than to the white side, you know.
Of course.
Like, so
yeah, because in music or in any art, like your identity plays a huge part in the creative process, you know, because whatever you hold closer is that's who you are, so you go into that culture and you create that type of art for those type of people, you know.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I think the lines can be blurred in societies, you know, especially from slave societies, because sometimes people don't necessarily want to be associated with the slavery part of it, you know. And so you can exist in this in-between world. It's not a negative or a positive thing. It just is what it just is. You know what I mean?
I mean, we I'm sure like we can. I mean, we can talk about this clearly and without a problem. You know, like I mean, just people who get bothered about like talking about like slavery and all those issues that we talk about, because we see these, like we might go through. Even though, again, I'm here. I think like here in the States, I would be considered like a Latino, you know, like something like that. And I mean, I know it's different. It's not like the same as like issues like as like black people go through, you know, but we also go through them as well, because like anyway we don't have like a white skin, and that's that's the bottom line. So but yeah, for me it's always feels like bullshit, you know. People feel like uncomfortable about talking about this, because like I always like, look, I mean, like for instance, whenever I have like this like a lot with Corey, you know, like Corey Wallace, our friend, like Darren plays with him a lot, you know, good friend of mine. Man, I very honestly, if I have like a doubt like about like a black question, I'll come to one of you guys like, man, can you explain me this?
Because you're not coming from the culture, so
exactly,
you don't know.
You know, like, and I want to know like what's the best way to position myself towards that, you know. And if I ask like a certain question to one of you guys, you know, I definitely, maybe I might sound like wrong because I don't know like, let's say maybe the context or stuff, but this is the way that I think people should be, you know, like, hey, I wanna know about this, you know, I wanna know how to deal with it, but I don't know anything about it, so just ask, you know. Like, I mean, people, I think like people can understand also when you're like genuinely like interested in like in this subject, you know, and just don't want to be ignorant, you know, because like, I think like a lot of people out there, they want to deal with this, in this case like the slavery and stuff. Why? Because they just don't want to touch that, you know. Like maybe it's too, I know, they're afraid or
it's too uncomfortable, maybe.
Yeah.
But for us, because you're in a situation where you're creating what we call Black American music.
Absolutely.
And so you have to understand the culture as much as you possibly can when you're not in it, in order to create it in a way that's authentic and honest, you know.
Absolutely.
And so for you to be doing that is dope. But just going back to the record and the name of it, Break Free, I'm curious to know
how they came up.
Well, not exactly like why. I just want to know why it's important for you to feel free when you're creating art.
Okay. Remember, like long time ago, like in a workshop by this amazing saxophone player called John Rocco. He lives in Europe for a long time, and if I'm not mistaken, he was like friends with Joe Lovano. They studied together back here in the States. He's American. And he's a guy who plays like a lot of free jazz, but he came up like on that workshop saying, how can you play completely free if you didn't master all the rules yet? You know, all the limits or stuff like that. So I think like there are different settings of being free, you know. But to me, it's important to just like feel what I feel and just like put it like in music, you know. And as you heard like in my record, as I have like different styles between songs, you know, like that gives me like all this kind of freedom, you know, of like maybe playing something like more Afro related, something that's more straight ahead related, or something like more modern jazz, odd meter kind of thing, you know. So I don't know if this like really answers the question, but like to me, like be free is like, it's not like exactly like do whatever I want to do, you know, but like I would say like maybe be cohesive with within what I want to do, you know, be able to produce something that can sound good and can connect. I think
what we do in music is we create a community within our environment, right? So like when you're playing music, you don't want to be playing music where only the musicians are satisfied, because there's an audience, you know. So you need everyone to be satisfied. It's like when you're with your woman, like you can't just do what you want to do. Yep. You got to take her feelings into consideration also. But yeah, man, that's it, man. We coming to an end here, and yo, man, thanks for coming on the Working Artist Project. Man,
thank you, bro. Like, a pleasure to be here with you. This was really fun.
Before we go, though, I do want to give you an opportunity to tell the people about your projects that's coming up, your record, your website, where they can find you.
Right. So I'm on every social media. So my Instagram is _Flavio Silva_. I'm on Facebook as Flavio Silva. My website is flaviosilva.mus.br, and you can find like all the information, like like projects. And I mean, there's just want to say, I don't know how that's going to be, but like we record like a trio thing back in May.
Okay.
With Emma Dehuff on bass, and Michael Pilot on drums.
All right.
Record like a couple of like tunes of all of us. We don't know yet what that's going to be, but like I'm sure like it's gonna come out at a certain point. Maybe it's an album, maybe it's an EP. So that's like something new that will come. And I'm already thinking like about the next next record.
Right, that's
like,
how it goes.
I just released these like I just released Break Free last June, and I'm already thinking about the next thing, which I have like some ideas, but I'm not like completely sure about them yet. So yeah, maybe we're gonna play some Sting. I don't know. Man.
No, man, sambas. That's it.
Yeah, no, that's the name of the next record is gonna be Sting in Samba.
Right.
Something like that,
There it is, y'all. Flavio Silva. Yo, thanks again for coming on the Working Artist Project, bro.
My pleasure.
Later. If you like what you heard, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to leave us a review. The Working Artist Project is brought to you by Second Line Arts Collective. Check us out at secondlinearts.org. I'm Darian Douglas, and this is the Working Artist Project.